What happens if the United States strikes Iran? This is no longer a hypothetical question debated only in think tanks and policy papers. With American military assets positioned across the Middle East, rising rhetoric from Washington and Tehran, and diplomacy appearing increasingly fragile, the possibility of direct military confrontation feels closer than it has in decades. The targets may be predictable: military bases, missile sites, nuclear facilities, but the consequences are anything but. History has shown that wars in the Middle East rarely end where planners expect them to. What begins as a limited strike can spiral into regional conflict, economic shockwaves, and humanitarian catastrophe. So today, we examine 7 possible scenarios, from the most optimistic to the most dangerous, exploring what could realistically unfold if the U.S. launches military action against Iran. In the second scenario, the Islamic Republic survives, but emerges weakened. This outcome resembles what analysts sometimes call the Venezuelan model. Swift and overwhelming U.S. strikes damage Iran's military capabilities, but stop short of toppling the regime. Faced with internal pressure and economic strain, Tehran adjusts its behavior. Support for armed militias across the Middle East is reduced. Nuclear and ballistic missile programs are curtailed or frozen. Domestic repression is eased, though not eliminated. For Washington, this would represent a strategic success without the chaos of regime collapse. For many Iranians, however, it would feel deeply unsatisfying. The Islamic Republic has resisted meaningful reform for nearly half a century. Its leadership has repeatedly demonstrated a willingness to absorb economic pain and international isolation rather than compromise on core ideology. Change through pressure alone has rarely worked, and expecting it now may be wishful thinking. Many experts consider this the most likely scenario. Iran's ruling system is unpopular, but it is not fragile. Behind the clerical leadership stands a vast security state: intelligence agencies, paramilitary forces, and above all, the IRGC. These institutions are deeply invested in the survival of the system and control vast economic resources. Protests have shaken Iran repeatedly, but they have failed largely because the security forces have not defected. If U.S. strikes destabilize the government without destroying the security apparatus, power may simply shift hands. In the aftermath, Iran could emerge under a hardline military government, dominated by IRGC commanders. Such a regime might be even more nationalist, more suspicious of the West, and more willing to rule through force. For the region, this could mean not de-escalation, but a colder, more militarized Iran. Iran has been explicit: any U.S. attack will be met with retaliation. While Tehran cannot match American air and naval power, it does not need to. Iran possesses a vast arsenal of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and drones, many hidden in underground facilities in mountainous terrain. U.S. bases in Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, and the UAE would be within range. So would regional infrastructure belonging to countries perceived as complicit, energy facilities, ports, and airports. The 2019 attack on Saudi Aramco's facilities demonstrated how devastating such strikes can be, even without triggering full-scale war. For Gulf states, the nightmare scenario is being dragged into a conflict they did not start, yet cannot avoid. Any retaliation would almost certainly provoke further U.S. strikes, risking a cycle of escalation with no easy off-ramp. One of Iran's most powerful weapons is not a missile, but geography. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most critical choke points in the world. Roughly a fifth of global oil and liquefied natural gas exports pass through this narrow stretch of water every year. Iran has repeatedly practiced deploying naval mines rapidly and covertly. Even a limited mining operation would send shockwaves through global markets. Shipping insurance costs would soar. Energy prices would spike. Supply chains would be disrupted worldwide. During the Iran-Iraq War, Mines in these waters required international naval efforts to clear them, a process that took months. This option gives Iran leverage far beyond its conventional military strength. Among U.S. naval commanders, one fear looms large: the swarm attack. This tactic involves overwhelming a target with fast attack boats, drones, and missiles simultaneously, stretching defenses beyond their limits. The IRGC Navy has spent decades training for exactly this kind of asymmetric warfare. While unlikely, the consequences would be enormous. The sinking of a U.S. warship, especially with casualties or captured sailors, would be a national shock. History shows such incidents are possible. The USS Cole was nearly destroyed in 2000. The USS Stark was hit by Iraqi missiles in 1987, killing 37 sailors. A modern equivalent would almost certainly trigger massive escalation. The final and most dangerous scenario is total collapse. If the regime falls and no authority can replace it, Iran could descend into chaos. Ethnic and regional tensions could explode. Kurds, Baluchis, Arabs, and other minorities may seek autonomy or protection amid a power vacuum. Civil conflict could erupt, echoing the devastation seen in Syria, Yemen, and Libya. Iran is home to around 93 million people. Its collapse would not remain contained. Refugee flows, regional instability, and humanitarian disaster would follow. Even Iran's fiercest rivals understand this reality. Removing the Islamic Republic may be desirable to some, but chaos on this scale benefits no one. The greatest danger now is miscalculation. A war begun to save face or send a message could spiral into a conflict with no clear end, and consequences that reshape the Middle East for generations.